Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining my webinar today. My name is Erica, and let's go ahead and get started with today's presentation. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here to show you all just kind of a short introduction as to what we will be looking at today for this webinar. Perfect. All right, so today's topic is how individual contributors manage their priorities while supporting multiple organizations. And yes, this topic is fairly specific. And what kind of brought me to creating this presentation for you all today was actually speaking with one of our users a couple of weeks ago. And what this use case looked like was our user was working for two different marketing firms, and he also had his own marketing company that he was getting up and running. And while he was working as an individual contributor, he had a lot on his plate supporting these three different marketing firms and was looking to use Priority Matrix to manage all of these priorities. But as you can imagine, it's really important to keep those priorities separate at times so you can just focus on the specific firms or organizations that you're working on. But it's also equally as important to have that high level overview to be able to fully understand what you're working on for that day and everything that you have on your plate. So that's kind of what we're going to be looking at today. Priority management made easy with Priority Matrix. Why is Priority Matrix such an effective management solution for individual contributors who have a lot on their plate? Priorities and emails are going to be available for you in just one central space. So, although you have priorities across multiple roles or multiple organizations, we're going to help you see that all in just one central space. We're going to help you see deadlines with your different organizations in just one automatically generated calendar for you. So, again, you have a lot on your plate. You likely have meetings across all those different organizations, and we're going to help you see that in just one calendar. We have a special functionality called Agenda by Priority Matrix, which is automatically created, and it's going to include your priorities, emails, and your meetings across all of your organizations. So again, like I briefly mentioned, we definitely understand the importance of keeping those priorities separate, which I'm going to show you how to do that. But also at times, there's definitely a time and place for seeing all of your priorities in one central place. The priority matrix approach. We've done our best to make it very easy to understand what your top priorities are and maybe what you can postpone for a later date. Priority Matrix supports a very effective visual approach for managing these priorities with the four quadrant method. A lot of our first time users actually connect with me firsthand, and I get to hear a lot of feedback from them. And this feedback often includes the comment of, hey, I really like Priority Matrix because of the four quadrant method rather than just giving you a giant to-do list. The priority matrix approach also supports organizational methods to group similar projects together. And that's definitely something that we're going to be looking at during this presentation. Again, it's also going to give you that high level overview to understand the daily to-do list. These are all functionalities that stand out to people right off the bat, and they're really, part of the main reason about what makes Priority Matrix so unique and effective, especially for the individual contributor working across multiple organizations. Like many of you out there, a lot of the organizations that we have been supporting over the last couple of years have become deeply rooted in the Office 365 ecosystem. So, to your luck, Priority Matrix absolutely integrates 100% with Microsoft Teams, with Outlook 365, and with SharePoint. So again, working for multiple organizations, you already have enough on your plate. And so we wanted to make it as easy as possible to get everything into one place for you, that being the Office ecosystem they are already using every day and you already trust. So what are we going to be looking at during the Priority Matrix demo today? I'm going to start off by giving you just kind of a basic overview. So for those of you who are seeing Priority Matrix for the first time, you can kind of understand the foundation. I'm going to show you something called project tags, which support project organization. We'll look at the automatically created agenda for you to see all of your priorities on kind of one plate. And then we're also going to look at how you can kind of separate the priorities based off of the multiple organizations you're supporting. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started with the demo portion. You can expect this demo to last, probably about 10 minutes. It's a little bit on the shorter side just because it is such a specific webinar today, but this information that you're going to get in the next few minutes is going to be incredibly valuable and helpful for you. So first and foremost, I want you all to understand what we're looking at today. So right here on my screen, this is Priority Matrix integrated into the Microsoft Teams platform. And then I have it pinned open. So I always suggest pinning Priority Matrix open for our first-time users. At the top of my screen, I like to highlight that I have the My Projects tab selected. And this is going to give you entry into, basically the entire Priority Matrix application, where again, you're going to be able to track priorities across the multiple organizations that you're supporting. You're able to create new projects, and then within each project, that's where you can track your priorities and all the tasks they need to get done that fall under kind of this major topic here. So that's going to be kind of the basic introduction. Hopefully that can kind of help you get your footing. If you're looking for more of a basic intro, be sure to check out some of my pre-recorded introduction webinars or try to attend my upcoming ones. I typically do them about twice a week. So the first best practice that I want to show you when it comes to managing priorities across multiple organizations in Priority Matrix is the idea of using project tags. So here you can see a couple project examples that I put together for you all, and it clearly shows, two different firms that I would be working with, both made up companies, by the way. So we have ABC Marketing and EV Marketing Firm. So, at the start of the day, sometimes it is really great to see all of the projects for all the different companies you're working for, but using project tags will allow you to filter down to see only a specific group of projects. So to make this happen, you would click on a project and then scroll down to where it says tags. So you can see that I have two applied here, so definitely keep in mind you're able to use multiple project tags on one project. So let's say it's Thursday morning and, right now I just need to focus on a specific group of projects for the ABC marketing. So just like I did there, you can simply apply this project tag, and now it's only going to show me these specific projects. So super quick trick, nothing too fancy about that, but it is incredibly helpful when it comes to kind of clearing out the noise and helping you focus on just one specific organization that you're working with. So across all of these different projects and organizations, we're going to have, a pretty wide variety of different priorities that we need to work on. So in terms of looking for that view that's going to help you understand, like, hey, what do I have on my plate today across all the different organizations that I'm supporting? So when I go to the home view and then I jump to what's called agenda, this is essentially going to show me, everything that I have on my plate for today across all those different organizations. So here's today, here's a priority that I have due, and then tomorrow, a couple more things that we have scheduled for all these different projects. So a couple things I want to point out right here. These are just, kind of my standard priorities. You can see what project they're coming from on the right-hand side. And then you'll also notice this email icon. Priority Matrix supports email management by using our Outlook integration. You're actually able to take emails and prioritize them. I'm going to touch on that more in just a moment, but I like to point that out. And then the last thing I'll point out is that it's also showing me my Microsoft Teams meetings. So again, at a glance, if you're looking to see what you have on your plate for all the different organizations, including priorities, emails, and meetings, agenda is absolutely going to give you kind of that wholehearted view that you need. Kind of switching gears to a different note, I'm going to jump to the search view. And what happens in the search view is it's going to show me basically everything, all my priorities across all of my projects. So while this is definitely super helpful, again, there are definitely going to be times where you may only want to see a specific group of priorities for certain projects or, certain topics. So what you're going to be able to do is you can actually filter your items, and maybe I'll just type in, let's just say Google, for example, because I think I have an example for that. So now what we'd be able to do is look through all of those projects and see all the priorities that I have that are related to updating Google search terms. Maybe I just found a really powerful tool for helping me with this, and I'm ready to knock out all my similar priorities across the different marketing firms that I'm looking for. The search view is going to help you find those relevant priorities that you can kind of all work on together. Lastly, what I would love to show you is the Outlook integration. So what this is going to allow you to do is prioritize your emails. And I want to acknowledge that when people are working for different organizations, whether it's multiple companies that you own, maybe a mix and match of ones you own and other organizations you have a role in, there's going to be likely multiple different inboxes. So the good news is, as long as you have Outlook 365 for all of those different inboxes, you're going to be able to go to Get Add-ins and add the Outlook extension. So I want to be crystal clear on that like I have here a couple different inboxes. You need to open up each one and install this extension for every single inbox that you're working on. From here, what you'll be able to do is very quickly prioritize these emails and put them into Priority Matrix by using the Outlook extension. So you'd simply click Create Action Item, prioritize it into the project where you'd like it to go. So we'll just say webinar example. You can choose the quadrant. So again, prioritizing it even further, and then you hit Create Action Item. And when I go back to my priority matrix here, we're going to see that where I just prioritized this email, I can now find it in that project. So again, this is really common for invoicing, emails from clients, updates from maybe your management if they're not using priority matrix. Our goal is to help you get everything into one space. So when it comes to seeing your priorities across all of your organizations, you can do that really easily, but you're also able to focus on just specific projects. Lastly, I wanted to show you the priority matrix calendar view. So this is going to look a little bit crazy, just a fair warning, because I have dozens of projects in here for examples. But this is a really good kind of space for us to look at the idea of modifying the calendars that we're looking at. So I can actually go up here to where it says projects. And what I'll be able to do is I can deselect any project that I don't want showing up in this calendar view. So, well, maybe we'll just say uncheck all, and I'll go about it with this approach. And now I can actually select the projects that I want to show up. So now what's happening is, again, I'm looking across all the different marketing firms in this example that I may be supporting. And now I'm able to see from this calendar view all the meetings and priorities that I have scheduled from all the different organizations that I'm working with. I could be even more specific, and I could say, okay, I only want to see what's happening for the EB marketing firm. Again, very easy to filter and find the information that you're looking for. All right, so circling back to kind of the final part of this presentation, if any of you have questions, I would love to hear your thoughts and hear your feedback. But some of the key takeaways for this presentation is the concept of getting everything into just one space. So number one, when you need to see what's on your plate across your meetings, your emails, and your priorities for the multiple organizations that you're supporting, Priority Matrix makes it so easy to do that. Number two, when you need to focus on just a type of priority or maybe just one organization that you're working for, or maybe even two, Priority Matrix supports filters to allow you to find the exact information that you need. And lastly, when you use the Outlook integration, you're able to manage your emails alongside your priorities and your meetings. So with all of that being said, we can go ahead and wrap up